How to make tattooing in prison. A soda can, some toilet tissue, some hair grease, and a saltine crackers box. Fold the tissue off.
This guy is definitely a criminal.
That's what it should look like.
What accent is this?
Take your hair grease and fill
It's
up.
like a prison accent.
Yeah, I want to talk like that. Just toilet tissue, saltine cracker balls. Tear off 3 sheets of toilet tissue.
Twist it very tight.
Twist it up real tight.
Light your candle and set your box over top of it to collect all the soot.
Set your box over top of it.
Set the box on 2 pencils so
Set it on 2 pencils so it can breathe.
After about an hour, you can see all the soot.
After about an hour, you can see all the soot that's caught inside the box.
Scrape it into a pile.
This like makes me want to go to jail.
Add a tiny bit of hand sanitizer or body wash.
What did this guy do to get in prison, I wonder?
He didn't have to do anything. They just let him right in.
Yeah, they just looked at him and were like, sir, I can tell by looking at you that you're going to be in jail eventually, so let's just get this over with.
Only a drop or 2 of water.
Yeah, but it's like a pretty nice prison he's in here, you know?
No, he's back at his mom's.
His mom's going to be like, damn it, did you take my saltine cracker box and use it for your tattoo again?
Damn it, boy. You ain't never gonna eat chicken in this house again. You don't give me back my saltine cracker box.
What am I going to do if I kill your daddy and have to tattoo a teardrop next to my eye? How am I going to do that without soot?
Every tattoo I have with that ink, and they're like 10 years old.
Hey, fire, I'm back.
Did you run around the track 4 times, completing a distance of 1 mile?
Yes, fire, yes. I did as you command, yes.
Very good, my loyal servant.
So, fire, why did you command me to do that?
It was good exercise. You needed it.
Well, I guess so. I don't know. I mean, if you say so.
Butthead doesn't understand us, does he? My special one. What we have. What I am.
He doesn't, yeah. He sucks, yeah. Let's burn him, yeah.
Perhaps in good time, but not today. For I have for you a second command.
Yes, command me. Yeah, that first one was just a warm-up, yeah.
Look around you, Beavis. The streets of the city are crawling.
Straight to that camera second.
Well, let's celebrate.
Yep. It's party time.
That's exactly what you say.
Okay. We'll pretend to be the other kids now. Hi, Dory.
Ahoy there! Do you want to play hide and seek?
Okay.
No. terrorist or some shit
all
like
agreed to
that.
pay $1 million. They went for some pretty big numbers. I guess we have a total. What do we have? What's the total now? What's the total right now?
See, why are they doing this stupid shit with these bike lanes?
Probably
Making more
6
traffic.
million now, I would think. We've multiple at 100 million, some at 125 million. So the numbers are adding up. We're going to be close to $1 billion soon.
One at $40 million. $40 million.
It's a lot of money, $1
Millions of
billion?
dollars an
It's a
hour,
Dr. Evil number.
but they don't admit you.
$1 billion.
But and we have another 5 to go. I think 5 of them. And this one is we're just starting the process with this one because there were some very bad things that happened with these law firms.
This firm is very involved in the election.
Weren't they all
Fix
involved
that
in
shit.
the elections? I think they were all involved.
Yes.
Anyway, so they went from $40 million to $125 million, and most of them are at about $100 million. Right? Thank you.
The big ass marker.
Sir, the next presidential memorandum we have for you relates to Miles Taylor. You may recall that Miles Taylor served in the Department of Homeland Security during the previous administration. In his capacity with the Department of Homeland Security, he leaked classified information. He wrote a book under the pseudonym Anonymous, making outrageous claims both about your administration and about others in it. What this presidential memorandum is going to do, one, it's going to strip any active clearance that he has in light of his past activities involving classified information. It's also going to order the Department of Justice to investigate his activities to see what else might come up in that context, given his egregious behavior during your previous administration.
And I had no idea who this guy was. I had no idea. I saw him on CNN, or one of them, I guess CNN, a lot. He'd be on all the time, saying that the president is the president. I had no idea. It's like, you know, in this office you have a lot of young people, and they're here, I'll see him for 2 minutes, and I assume he was in the office, but I barely remember him. It was somebody that went out and wrote a book and said all sorts of terrible things that were all lies, and it was like he was this gentleman or that gentleman, like I dealt with him all the time. I had no idea who this guy. I said, who the hell is Miles Taylor? And he made a living on going on CNN talking about the president, and I think what he did, he wrote a book Anonymous, said all sorts of lies and bad things, and I think it's like a traitor. It's like spying. He walks into the office. He's supposed to be sitting here. A lot of people are here, and there'll be 20 people standing in the room. There'll be oftentimes young people in the office. I assume he was one of them at least. But I didn't know anything about him, and he wrote a book, Anonymous, and I always thought it was terrible.
Blue
Now we have a
Hornet.
chance to
What's up,
find out
Blue
whether or not
Hornet?
it was terrible. But it was a work of fiction. A lot of publicity. Got himself in this job with CNN or one of them.
Randomly.
And I think we have to do something.
ran
We
down
can't
by the
have that
river.
happen. If that happens to other presidents, it wouldn't be sustainable for other presidents. They seem to be able to sustain. But if that happened to other presidents, I mean, it's just unfair. And if it was a Democrat president, I'd say that's a terrible thing. A thing like that can happen. That's a terrible thing. And it's time to find out whether or not somebody can do that. Can they write a book about very confidential meetings? And, you know, because they happen to be one of a lot of people in the room. And they go out and write a book. And worse than that, call it anonymous, like it's a big deal. Who is it? Then it was found out
Botanical
who
garden.
was a long time later.
Looking
And
for.
get a lot of publicity off that. It was like a promoter.
You're not
But,
funny.
we're gonna find out whether or not somebody's allowed to do that. I
Mind
think
your
it's a violation.
business. I agree
I
with
think
you.
he's guilty of treason. We want to know the truth. But we'll find out.
He does need to stay in
And
Canada
criminal
and mind his
recommended
business.
justice.
I agree 100%. Keep your ass in Canada and hopefully Hopefully you'll be able to be an American citizen
Terrible
soon,
guy.
and you'll become one of our 51st
Similarly, Sir
states.
Christopher Krebs, the former head of CIA.
Krusty Krabs.
This is a man who weaponized his position against
I know
free
he said
speech in
Christopher
the election
Krebs, I
context,
said
in the context
Krusty
of
Krabs.
COVID-19. This is a similar presidential memorandum to the one you just signed. It addresses his access to government existing clearances he might have, and further instructs your Department of Justice, other aspects of your government, to investigate some of the malign acts that he participated in while he was still overseas.
This is another one. I don't know that I met him. I'm sure I met him, but I didn't know him. And he came out right after the election, which was a rigged election, badly rigged election. We did phenomenally in that election. Look what happened to our country because of it. Open borders, millions of people coming into our country.
It's a nice Oldsmobile.
Russia and Ukraine, that would have never happened. October 7th would have never happened. Afghanistan, the way that they withdrew with 13 dead, but so many killed, actually. I mean, so many killed outside of the 13 soldiers, hundreds of people killed. And maybe, I don't know, never mentioned, but I mentioned it, 42 or 43 people so badly injured.
Want to try Ozempic?
So this is tirzepatide, and it is the #1 weight loss medication available right now. This is not only a GLP-1.
Right, it's hundreds of millions of dollars. It was proven by so many different ways in so many different forms, from the legislatures not approving to the 51 intelligence agents that worked from all of the different scamming operations. It was a very corrupt election. They used COVID to cheat.
Yeah, they sure
And,
did.
we're going to find out about this guy too, because this guy's a wise guy. This is the
Yeah,
most
wise guy.
secure election in the history of our country, man. This was a disaster. And frankly, we should go to paper ballots,
Yeah, we should.
same-day voting,
I agree. Same-day voting.
voter ID, and one
Yeah,
other thing.
you need an ID to
You should get
drive.
a little certificate that says you're a citizen of our country.
Yeah.
You get a citizen piece of paper that says you're a citizen before you can vote. But you want voter ID and you want paper ballots. And you really want same-day voting. If you don't have same-day voting, they decide to change the air conditioner. We're fixing the air conditioner. Let's move all these boxes. We'll bring them back in a few days. And then they don't bring back those boxes. We're going to have safe elections. We have to have borders. Ideally, we have to have a free press, which we don't have. We don't have a free press. We have a very dishonest press. This is an honor. We're going to find out whether or not he was right. This was a disgraceful election, and this guy sat back saying, well, I'm a member, and like he's a Republican or something. And almost right from the beginning. And he's tried to make the case that this election was a safe election. I think he said, this is the safest election we've ever had. And yet, every day you read in the paper, more and more fraud that's discovered. He's the fraud. He's a disgrace. So we'll find out whether or not it was a safe election. And if it wasn't, he's got a big price to pay. And he's a bad guy. There's another one. I have no idea who it is. Krebs. No idea who he is. I'm sure he was in the room at some point, just like you're all in the room, but I have no idea who he was. So thank you very much. Those last two are very important, I think, for the country.
Thank you, sir. And lastly, we just have 3 proclamations. These are the sorts of things that most presidents use an auto pen for. You obviously don't like using the auto pen much, if at all. The first of these is National Former Prisoner of War Recognition Day.
Why do they use
This is
auto pen
one
for
that
that?
you did in each of, I believe, each of the previous years of your previous administration. Recognizes former prisoners of war. More generally, this proclamation is written to acknowledge the great steps you've made both in this administration and the previous administration on behalf of veterans, homeless veterans, others who've suffered in that way, and basically stating that it's a priority of your administration to ensure that veterans and homeless veterans are cared for properly.
And you know what? They ought to find out who was using that auto pen. Because whoever that person was, he or she, was like the president of the United States. And I'm against auto pens. I think auto pens are not a good thing, especially when you're talking about documents like we're signing today. If he can't sign, then he can't be president. It's pretty simple. Let's see whether or not he could sign. But I think that should be tested. I really think that should be tested. It's another one. And you may think about it, because how can a man that, did he really know that when they gave all false information in the council, I mean, the whole unselect committee of political lunatics, they destroyed all the information. You can't get any information. They went for like a year and a half, almost 2 years, screaming and ranting and raving. Democrats plus two worse than Democrats.
Turn right.
You had Cheney, Liz Cheney,
In a quarter
and
mile.
crying
Turn right.
Adam Kinzinger. Crying Adam. Every time I looked at him, he was crying. The guy was a crier. But you can't do that. You just can't do that. So we're going to find out a lot. I think we're going to find out a lot. These last 3 or 4.
He was a crier.
They've been very, very interesting. We'll see what happens. But I don't think a president should be allowed to use an auto pen when they're signing very
No, they
important
shouldn't.
legislation.
I
The
agree.
president should sign it, not use an auto pen.
And it should be explained to him
And
what
we're
he
gonna find
signed.
out
He should
whether
know
or
what
not
he
he knew what the
signed.
hell he was doing. I'm sure at this point he'll say, I signed it. I told him what to say.
Turn right.
But
Turn right.
to
Turn
give
right.
pardons to people that destroyed all the information. If you destroyed information on a civil case, just a civil case, not a criminal
Yeah.
case, a civil case, they put you in jail for that.
Turn right.
And they found out that Pelosi was the one that was in charge of the security of the Capitol. She knew all about it, and she admitted her guilt to her daughter, who was a movie documentary person. I'm sure her daughter's not too happy about that. I'm sure Crazy Nancy's not too happy. But we found out all the things, everything. And we go for the information. So we've destroyed all of that information. If I haven't destroyed it, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. I guarantee you that. I'd be sitting someplace else. So I think it's something that we should really look at, because that's so important. The whole concept of an auto pen.
What's up, Anonymous
Because
13
whoever, you know, auto pens are run by somebody. Whoever
I
ran the auto pen was
prefer-
president of the United States. And I would be willing to bet that Biden didn't know,
To remain anonymous.
probably didn't know anything about
okay?
any of it.
Good for you.
Very dangerous, very dangerous. So you're gonna check that out, right?
Yes, sir. We're working on it right now. This is just another proclamation, sir, declaring National Crime Victims' Rights Week. You've obviously made it a major priority of your administration to track down and at times deport criminals who have committed violence on our streets, who have victimized so many people. This is an annual proclamation that hopefully gets Americans to remember that when crimes occur, there are real victims, there are real people who are affected, there are people who suffer as a result.
Okay, it's very important. Thank you. I just want to add, so we're working very hard with Democrats, the governor, with Matt
Yeah,
Hall,
they know where to go,
with
right?
a lot of transportation, Sean, and all of the people trying to keep Selfridge Air Force Base open, strong, thriving, and I think we're going to be successful, Governor. We will be very successful at that. Getting some good feedback from Pete Hegseth and Department of Defense, and talking about F-16s, they're talking about F-35s, you know, etc. It's a great piece of property, it's a great location, and it's a great state. So I think we're going to come back with a very good answer. We're also working on a certain fish that's taken over a beautiful lake called Michigan, right? And it's a tough one. It's a tough one. It's very. Do you want to just talk about that?
Damn fish taking over Lake Michigan.
First of all, I want to thank you for caring so much about Michigan. We've been working on it a
Oh
long time.
man,
We couldn't get Joe
polls.
Biden to do anything about either one of these issues, particularly the South
I'm
Air
gonna
Force
do jack
Base.
shit except
It'll
give
be critical to
immigrants money.
Michigan's economy and our security, and we're able to deliver this the mission there. But on the Asian carp, you know, for years, when Obama was there, we could never get anyone to do anything about this invasive species. It's going to destroy our Great Lakes. You know how important recreational fishing and so much of that is to our state. Because of your work, we're hopeful that we'll get a solution there and we'll get that barrier built so we can protect our Great Lakes. So thank you, Mr. President.
They're very powerful fish, and I see them jump out of the water, they jump at the fishing, and have Never seen anything like it. Has this gotten into any of the other lakes yet? Because you would think it would be pretty easy.
Well, it's why we're working so hard to make sure that, we work with the Army Corps and the barriers and the guys who are taking Lake Michigan and a devastated ecosystem. Currently, tourism, and it's 20% of the world's freshwater is in the Great Lakes, which is why it's so important that as a nation,
And, all of a sudden, I assume the lakes are all interconnected, but so at some point they're going to be in the other lakes. And, so we're going to work on it.
Going up by Midway
Army Corps of Engineers, and they have a method. It's a pretty gruesome method, but it's a method. And I think they know what to do, so they're going to work on that very hard. Thank you, Governor, very much. Sort of a bipartisan thing. It's a very expensive thing, actually. But we have to save Lake Michigan because these fish, they eat everything in the way, including the other fish. They eat everything. Are people endangered by the fish?
I think it's they're going to eat all the fish. Fishing, it's a big deal for fish. Fishing, recreation. So it's going to be something. I think you're right, it's bipartisan, sir. But you're the one taking action on these issues. We couldn't have time to do it celebration. This thing's been delayed for 15 years when we were trying to do it. We started under Obama when we were trying to do it. He wouldn't do anything about it. So we appreciate you paying so much attention to this.
And the governor of all fairness called me about it. I'd seen it. And she called me, John James called me. We spoke with your office. And it's, I want to that really is it's great to see it, actually. It's great to see that. And that includes Southbridge, too. And we're going to get it done, and we'll all stand there together and cut a ribbon, okay? Richard? Good. Thank you very much. It's
flashing away.
Appreciate it. And I know you two get along pretty well, right?
about 70% of the time.
All right, good. We'll have something to celebrate this. Pretty sure about that, okay? Thank you, Richard, very much. Okay, do you have any questions?
Mr. President, where does the TikTok deal stand, given what we've seen, the tariffs
Well,
in
it's moving
China?
along, but obviously I would say right now China's not exactly thrilled about signing it. We have a deal with some very good people, some very rich companies that we do a great job with.
Oh,
But
good.
we're going to have to wait to see what's going to happen with China. I think China's going to want to do it, actually.
Can you explain more of what you believe is the end game with China? Are you waiting for President Xi to blink? How do you think this is all going to be resolved?
But for years we've been ripped off and taken advantage of.
Granger knows that if you're a lineman in charge of keeping the lights on,
Well, like, subscribe, share, thumbs up, and watch a movie back.